Well, here's something new. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aaron and I like to fix stuff. Today we're working on this Club Car Turf 2 Carryall golf cart. This is a gas-powered golf cart and it's got some eccentricities that we'll get into. I picked this up from a customer on Tuesday. Today's Saturday. We're just getting into it. It's been raining the last few days, so we're just getting started. This thing is unique, I think. It's got some, like I said, eccentricities. It does run and drive. The customer's complaint is that it seems like it's a little bit hard starting, so we're going to try to make this a little bit easier. That being said, it's kind of an anomaly. Well, I may as well just show you because that's the easiest way to explain. So we have key switch, but that is not the ignition. That just enables you to start and operate the machine. There's a choke under here that's spring activated, so it returns the gear or drive selector, forward, neutral, and reverse. And in order to start, it is pedal activated. So you have to pull the choke, pressing the pedal starts it, releasing the pedal shuts the machine off, and that's the way it's supposed to work. That's the way it's designed, which is odd to me because I'm used to equipment that would idle when you release throttle. For this machine, if you let go of the pedal, it will shut off. So I guess this is what he's talking about. It seems like it runs fine once you get it up to full throttle, but you might not always want it full throttle. I don't know, it's just the point that I'm trying to get is that if you're trying to feather the accelerator, the throttle, you really can't, because if you lighten up on it too much, it just shuts off. So you're kind of balancing between run and off, and that's where it seems like it kind of stumbles. And then you throw the choke into that equation too. See, like right now, it's like you have to be moving in order to even diagnose it. So it's like, once you get it up to speed though, then it runs awesome. So we'll take it for a cruise. Maybe. I don't know, it's funky. Yeah. See, I let off the gas because we started going pretty fast, and the second you do that, it kills it. So it's, I don't know. So basically, his complaint is that it's not running very well, and he thinks, well, let's get this back over by the shop, and then we'll talk about it. I wonder. All right, that's enough messing around with that. So there's a history with this machine too. So the customer's initial concern was that they had this in at a different repair shop, I think he said last year, for a no-start condition. And when they brought it in, the shop diagnosed the 4 limit switches as bad, and so they bypassed them. I don't think that they bypassed them all, because it looks like this one here is still activated, but they removed, you know, a bunch of switches. From what I understand, that's fine. The limit switches on this machine operate kind of like the safeties on a lawnmower, so where you can't start the lawnmower without the brake engaged, or with the seat safety, or, you know, neutral position. This shouldn't affect the fuel or anything like that. So changing the gear position, there you can see there's this must be the neutral position switch. He said before you could never start it if it was in neutral. And it's like, well, what's the point of having neutral if it has to be in gear for it to operate? I don't know. It's just, like I said, this is kind of a strange concept for me to understand. There were 4 limit switches. I don't know which ones are still in position or not, or activated or disconnected or whatever, but I don't think that has anything to do with it, to be honest. From what I could tell from the schematics, there was nothing that governed the fuel supply as far as the electronics of the fuel position, the limit switches. So I'm thinking, like, I spent a lot of time thinking, like, how are we going to figure this out with all these electronics and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, well, wait a second. You're really overcomplicating this, because at the end of the day, this is still just a gas engine. You know, we got our carb sitting right here. This is a Kawasaki FE350D. Let's see, get you in there, right there. CS11. And so I'm having some problems finding parts. I can find the FE350D parts diagrams, but not for the CS11. From what I can tell, this carb, I have not been able to find any serial numbers or identifying marks. I'd like to get a carb kit before I break this open, because I think that we've got either faulty spark, dirty air filter, or dirty carburetor. That's kind of where I'm leaning. If that's not the culprit, then I think that maybe we could do some kind of an adjustment on the choke cable, because he said, before I picked it up, he said that he put a little spacer in here to keep the choke from going all the way back in, and he said that seemed to work better. Well, that makes sense, because now you're partially choking it, which means that it's probably running lean on the gas, which would indicate dirty carburetor. So I think, you know, perhaps we could do some of that stuff, or maybe we need to see if we can adjust the sensitivity on this pedal here, so it's not like you push it and all of a sudden you're going full speed. It's like, maybe if we make the resistance a little bit more, so you have to push harder, then you don't have to like feather it so much between on, off, on, off, on, off. You know, you can just kind of ramp it up. I don't know. But first things first, I think that we should probably find a spot for you. The whole frame and everything is aluminum. And if we have to, we can, let's see, how does it go? The bed is a manual dump, so we can access it from back here too. So really, this shouldn't be too complicated. We've got plenty of access. I think, let's start by buzzing that. I know I could have swore that I've worked, one of the lawnmowers I did recently, I could have swore had a Kawasaki FE350. But I can't figure out which one it was. If it was the X320, possibly, I don't remember. Anyways, let's take that bowl off the carb and see what we're dealing with. And we can pop this air cover off and just kind of get rid of all that stuff. Like, it's hard because I got nowhere to put you guys. That's the hardest part so far. the whole frame and the body is aluminum. So I might have to get out the actual tripod for this project. What? Okay, I got that hose off. Can we get this cover? Seems kind of odd. It's like it's gotta lift up to clear, but it's got all this stuff in the way. What's holding it? Like the side, the body of this. It's surprising. Like you gotta take this whole side cover off just to change the air filter? No, because it's welded. It's welded down here. Well, it doesn't come all the way out, but I was able to sneak the filter out. It's pretty filthy. And it says 415 of 15, so 9 years. All right, I want to try to get the float bowl off, but I think maybe we should start by getting this fuel line taken off, just so we're not going to leak everywhere. Plus, if the carb is going to come off, that has to come off anyways. But if we take a look at the carb or the float bowl, that should give us a good indication if we are going to need to do a full carb service. So it should be 10 mil for the bowl nut. I mean, the exterior of the carb looks pretty clean. I think the guy said he's only had it for a couple years. Yeah, that's... there's a little bit of debris in there, but it's clean. I mean, that's really clean. So I don't think that's our problem. All right, let's just, even though the carb bowl looked clean, let's check some of these adjustments. There's an air fuel mix here. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's run that out to 3, so 1.5 turns out. Let's try that. And then I think this should be, I need a shorter screwdriver. So we turned the air fuel mix 1/2 turn in to set it to 1.5 instead of 2 like it was. We'll see if that makes a difference. I kind of want to get, I think this is going to be a low speed circuit. I'd like to get this out without dropping it, just to make sure, because it's here, you know, we can see it. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, that's packed. Those holes have got to be clean. And I can't. Well, maybe not packed, but there's some debris in there. Let me just clean that out. All right, it's about a week later. I was waiting on parts and working on other projects and ended up getting kind of sick, so starting to feel better, but I just wanted to get going on this. The owner's been pretty forgiving, but when I get back to them. So the mic kept cutting out last time I was working on it. So I wanted to just kind of go over everything again, just in case I didn't record it. The plug, it's a little carboned up. Looks like it was running kind of rich, but it's also an aftermarket Chinese something. So I did go ahead. Took me a while to find what should be the OEM. This is an NGK DPR5ES. So hopefully that's going to work. I've been trying to wrap my head around. This is such an odd kind of machine because like you can't idle it, and you can't easily run it in neutral, if that makes sense. So you can't really dial in the engine without moving. And then I don't know. It's just, on some of the electric ones, there's like a maintenance mode. So I might look around on here to see if this one has some sort of a maintenance mode that we can just like run the engine, to get it kind of dialed in. Because otherwise, like, how do you tune it if you can only do it when it's running? Like that just doesn't make sense. This plug doesn't seem like it wants to go in. It seemed like they were the same, didn't they? This one's got a different setup on top. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Well, it does. At least I think it snaps in here. We'll see. If I don't know, it just feels weird. When I had it out of I took the plug out and I put it. You can put it in here like this, but it sits a little bit too deep in this recess, and so the cap kind of interferes with the surroundings, so it feels like it doesn't quite go on all the way. So we'll see. I can't really test it right now because I left the key on the other day and our battery is dead. So we're gonna have to charge that up. Let's go ahead while we're here. I wanted to replace this fuel line. So I don't know about this other one, but this one's all cracked. And we should be good. I don't think we got to pinch it off or anything because the fuel pump is back here. So it should not be pressurized. Obviously it'll drain back out of the fuel filter from this side and any residual, but it's not like it's going to drain the tank, I believe. Famous last words, right? All right, how can I? There you go. So now I got to cut a chunk of fuel line. Man, it's hot out today already. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's got to be 80 degrees. Feels like, anyways. Right in the sun. I'm sorry. This thing keeps wiggling around. We'll cut off right there. Get the cutters. Of course, I just bonked it again. For the most part, this little magnetic camera monopod I think has worked pretty well for working on the lawnmower. Sometimes it seems like I can't get good shots because I'm like too close up, you know, or it's like off to the side or something because I have nothing to stick it to, and then I'm like, oh, I should just use the tripod. But then the tripod gets in the way, and I don't know. I always thought it would make sense to have like a chesty harness, like for the GoPro, because then it's more realistic. You can see like from my perspective what I'm seeing, that kind of thing. I used it one time, and just everything was like a lot of shots of the ground. So it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to keep using that. Okay, so anyways, back to the original complaint. Guy said he thinks it should run better. It does run, drives. He just wants it to run better. So the air filter last changed on 4 of 15. So that's just over 9 years. It's dirty. Not like crazy dirty, but my thought is that there's a combination of things going on possibly. If the air filter is plugged, that's going to make the carburetor a little rich, or even if the air filter is restricted. So it's a little rich, which causes the extra carbon on the spark plug. Okay, and then the idle jet on the carburetor was also turned out to 2 full turns, I think. So maybe we start. I did turn it back into 1.5. So we're at 1.5 right now to try that out. But maybe those things in combination just kind of made it so it wasn't running as effectively. I don't know. Possible. It's kind of hard because that complaint of it not running as well as it should, well, that's kind of a subjective thing, right? When I was running it, it seems like it wants choke. When you, why can I not get this? It wants choke, right? And that's normal for the gas engine to start up in cold. But unless you like I drove this around kind of wide open to really get it going, and then it would run fine. So it's like it really needs to heat up. So I'm not sure. Long story. Let's see if we can. This housing for the filter is kind of a pain because you can't really get it in there to really see what's going on. That seems like that wasn't okay. I was a bit iffy. It wasn't impossible to find parts for this, but it was a little different because normally, like, you look up for a lawnmower, right? You go whatever make and model, and then just Google make, model, and part diagram, and you'll find websites that have the make and model, and then you can order stuff right from there. For this stuff, it was like you get the make and model, You put it in, Google it, it'll bring you to the parts list for the parts manual for the club car, but there's no way to order from there. So unless you want to order from, you got to find a club car dealer and then go through them, and I didn't want to do that. So then I had to just like Google and mess around to try to find cross-reference numbers to be able to order, because the club car ones are like specific. I don't know if that makes sense, but they don't show up. Like if you put in a club car number on a search on eBay, it's not necessarily going to show up because you need to have like an actual manufacturer part number, which is different. So I don't know, it was just kind of a pain. But we got fuel filter, air filter, spark plug. I got to charge the battery, and then we'll fire this thing up and see if we made any difference. So the battery has been charged. Let's fire this thing up and see if it made any difference. Turn the ignition into the on position. Now, so I think his complaint is that if you let off the gas, it dies like it's supposed to. But then to restart it, it still wants choke. Maybe that's normal, I don't know. But it seems like it's smoothed out a lot. Before it was like on or off. It's a lot easier to maintain a steady speed without having it go too fast or to die. Yeah, I think we got this one. Now after running it for a while, let's see if it'll start without choke. Yeah. There I guess. Well, turns out just a little bit of routine maintenance was all it needed. New air filter, new fuel line, new spark plug. So it was running rich. We turned down the carb a little bit to correct that mixture. And I think mostly it was probably just, spark and air filter. Makes a big difference, but it's kind of a neat little machine. So I am excited to get this back to its owner, and I know he's looking forward to it too. So with that, I'm going to sign off and get ready for the next project. So until next time, thanks for watching.